I got to tell you, as the person who monitors our social media accounts, I get lots of requests from influencers wanting to collaborate with us for our event. And I always wonder, what does that mean? Does that mean we're going to promote you, you're going to promote us? How does that relationship work? And what about pitching traditional media? So that's kind of the impetus for this panel today. Let's collab or not. How do you think about working with general media, traditional media, journalists, or with influencers, people who have a social media presence?
I wanted to start this conversation off actually with Andy Wong over here, who's been an amazing journalist who has worked with everything. Andy, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate this. So, Andy,
enjoying this interview process so far.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really working wonderful. It's amazing conversation. So, Andy, for those of you who don't know, Andy used to be a tech writer as well and was one of the first people to ever write about a little startup called Google and the idea of blogs. And I think it's amazing when I can know an individual who literally invented something that is a verb every single day in society and talked about it and talked about a long form article that ended up becoming something that was so useful for independent businesses, for influencers and everyone. So Andy, would love to talk, and would love to hear you talk about to all these individuals about what the article was, what the effect was, and seeing the rise of Google and search engines as it exists in today's society.
All right, that's wild. We're going to talk about something that happened, I guess, 25 years ago. Does anybody care about this? All right, 1999. Yeah, that was 25 years ago. I'm pretty good at math, at least. I did write the first New York Times stories ever about Google, and before that, about blogs. The blog one was really weird because it was probably 2 or 3 years before anybody even used the term blog. And the term at that point was weblog. And what I remember most about writing this piece was just that I turned in the phrase weblog, and they're like, this is too jargony, we're going to change it to Web Digest. And literally you go find that story, it's about blogs. And they're calling it Web Digest. Now, I think the thing that's sort of relevant to now is that I wrote about somebody, Jim Romanesco, who just basically had a site where he just found weird, obscure, off-kilter news that normally people wouldn't cover. And a second site where it was just obsessive analysis of the media, just like over-scrutiny, gossip, news, true inside baseball stuff. And then somehow he did this. And look, being in the New York Times helped. He ended up getting a job from the Poynter Institute to do this. And it sort of established something that ties directly to you, David, which is just doing dumb shit on the internet sometimes does benefit you. There's no real explanation why. Not really based on merit, but congratulations to some of you.
That was amazing. Oh my God. So as we've seen Google rise, and especially Google as it exists in the normal life, it's changed almost anything. Right? Like, how many of you are shop owners who pay for Google ads? How many of you rely on Google, to essentially help drive traffic to your business? And it kind of works. So as we look at how the internet essentially affects, different businesses and kind of work with this, well, Google has, for a lot of businesses, helped put people on the map. I'm sure with Prince Street, you look at Google and, you look in the SEO and you search. And, if you type in like best pizza in Los Angeles, something like Prince Street might come up. Something like Ozzy's might essentially come up, right? And so I think it's important when you look at essentially how the internet can be used for good. On the other hand, sometimes the internet is a fucking terrible place, and let me be real. And when we look at what Google does, and especially now with Google reviews, sometimes it really angers shops to a point of no return. And so the thing I want to know, especially when it comes to the internet and when it comes to the discourse, and Lawrence, I think this is a good question for you, is what is the appropriate level of discourse that people can have when it comes to conversations about a business, and especially when it comes to criticism or when it comes to praise, because I think we've sat in a situation where the social contract between communities and between restaurants is completely in a wild place and making absolutely no sense. So, Lawrence, I'd love to hear you talk about this and just kind of the general reaction.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me here. I think that Yelp and Google reviews, as an owner, you can really look at that. And I know people love to hate Yelp and you love to hate Google reviews. But at the end of the day, you can really keep an eye on your business and see what's going on. Because, yeah, there's assholes out there who just want to, write stuff about your pizzeria or your business, how it sucks because they had one bad experience there. But for the most part, I can go through Yelp reviews or Google reviews and actually make my business better. And you can take all the bullshit away, but like the person's pizza was burnt. So that's a problem with my restaurant, and how am I going to fix that? So I think you got to use the tools of the internet the best way they can help you. And if they don't help you, then you got to ignore them, put your head down, and just keep on forging ahead.
That makes total sense, and that's an amazing answer. I appreciate that. I've seen personally with you, people praise you. I've seen people come up to you and, criticize, and it's unbelievable to see how you handle it. I think that's the amazing thing when you look with poise. And
I think there's a lot of assholes in the world.
Yeah.
And you gotta really just be able to, handle them appropriately and know that they're upset for something else. It's probably not really the pizza. It's something else that happened.
Totally. And I think for me, it's important because we look also at the power of influencers, right? We see an influencer who can make or break a pizzeria. We see that all over the time. And we see people try and use that power to get them maybe freebies or to get individuals and get something going on. I know, Chris, personally, as I've talked with you, you've seen people approach you. I've seen your DMs as it reads for influencers that are reaching out to you. And sometimes they have the most absolutely ridiculous demands possible. And so what do you do as a shop owner? Do you give in to this situation? Do you tell them to fuck off? Like, what do you essentially do in order to maintain the positivity of your business?
Hi, Dave.
Hey, babe.
Thanks for having me. That's a good question. So I feel there's a two-way street to go with this. Is like when I started out, I wanted to get to know other shop owners that had shops before me to learn about the industry and all of that. And before I was in pizza, I was a comedian for 8 years out here, grinding and networking and doing all this stuff. So I've always learned how to talk to people. The reason I'm at Pizza Fest because I met Steve at the expo 3 years ago and we chatted, and then we're here today. And I'm grateful for those conversations. So if you come at me organically and like a good person, I always try to give you the benefit of the doubt. If you DM me and say, if you charge me $300 to come to my shop to eat a pizza, yeah, you could fuck off. Like I don't need that. I don't want that. Because then it's an inauthentic review. Like, I'm all about authenticity. I like what Lauren said. Like, I look at Yelp all the time. I look at the 1 stars. If you attack my authenticity or my shop's authenticity, I have a problem with it. But if you're a real person, come on by. Like, I invite people all the time. I give out pizza all the time. Like, we donated thousands of dollars worth of pizza during the wildfires because we care about the community. Don't DM me during the wildfire relief and ask for free pizza to do a review on it. I don't want that. That's not real. And I think that's the thing about this culture. It's like, it's wonderful. Like, we got put on the map because a lot of people with influence came to our shop and liked it. And I'm grateful for that. But like, there's a lot of people out there that don't have that influence. And I think the biggest influence is our customers and the people that love us. Because like, without you guys, we have nothing. And that's all I care about is just feeding my people and treating my staff good. And that's the best way to do it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I mean, Lawrence, I think you've seen the same thing, but to a different level. And I think I want to, really dive into your brain for this and talk about it. You have built this media machine behind you. And I think it's unmistakable and unbelievable to kind of look at on how you are able to sort of translate influencers into the community and also bring them in, but also at the same time, I think with partnerships is really important. And so I think when I start telling people, hey, like an influencer can do a video for you, that's fine. But the real pathway forward is partnerships. And one of the coolest things I saw with you was not even with pizza specifically, but was with Irved Burgers. And when you were able to essentially work with the movie The Menu. Have you guys all seen The Menu here? Have you all seen that? So if you want to talk specifically about the collab you did with The Menu, because that was everywhere like nothing I've ever seen. And I think that's important for a lot of this audience specifically, because we're here, we have Hollywood, we have that sort of thing. How do we then get beyond the influencer, beyond the TikToker, how do we get Hollywood engaged with our shops, and how do we work with that?
I can't speak about that at a pizza expo. It's a Burger Con type of thing. No, but no, I'll see. The menu movie came out, and someone said to me, "He's like, you got to see this movie, The Menu. They make the most delicious burger at the end of the menu or the movie." And so I called Fox Searchlight and I said, "Hey, I own a little burger stand called Irv's Burgers, and I think I would love to do a collaboration burger with you and recreate the burger from the movie The Menu." Which I guess is the most authentic way to do a collaboration when it's like that real. And they loved the idea of it. And yeah, we launched it at Irv's, and it was a massive success. I got to say, it was it was one of those collaborations that lasted. Honestly, it's lasted till this day, because that burger is still on the menu, and it's one of my top selling items at Irv's to this day.
It's amazing.
So,
and I think for me, I mean, as I've spoken to you, especially with that restaurant, it was important because as we look in Los Angeles and we see a lot of restaurants, there's a lot of nostalgia for what used to exist. And for me, Irv's Burgers was my childhood burger. And it was amazing, and how I was able to, go after being at Rosewood Elementary School, and essentially go over and grab a burger. And there was a lady there named Sonia who was drawing little things for me as everything was going on. And it was just so cool to see, especially with you, taking a brand specifically that never existed really during the heyday of the internet, and then creating an entire brand scheme around it with a whole palette, and also creating a voice online. So I think for a lot of businesses here, as they're talking about navigating the internet and a lot of the different challenges that exist, how would you recommend for a business is starting from completely on the ground up to really create that brand kit, and then essentially work with like, here's the scheme and here's the voice and here's how we include everything?
The best advice I could give to anybody who's starting out: make one thing that's amazing. One item that's absolutely craveable. You have to have it. You got to eat it. And then from there, the marketing, as Chris said, it's community. It's really about that community, because those are influencers only come to your restaurant once. They come, they talk about it, and then hopefully they tell their audiences. But the community, the people that are around your neighborhood, those are the people you want to serve. And if you have one item, if you look at all the best restaurants, there's one item that put them on the map. There's one item, the reason why everybody goes back, from fine dining to fast food. Carbones, the spicy carbonara, right? That was or not spicy, that's spicy rigatoni.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Shit, Mario's going to punch you in the face, man.
But, everybody has that one. Ours is a spicy spring. It's now different. We have a couple other items that now go up to it, but the spicy spring was 75% of our sales for a long time. The pepperoni on the square. So what I would say is, really beyond all the social media, is focus on one item that is very craveable, that somebody has to, after they leave, they think about having more of it.
It's great advice. I think, Andy, also you're looking specifically when you have a perspective that's very unique from media and journalism as it's looking. And I think that a lot of people in this room sort of wonder, well, we have no budget. Our margins are we make 2 cents a month in profit. So we don't exactly have the money to spend on PR. What have you seen are successful pitches that really get through when people don't have marketing budgets, when people don't have these PR budgets? What essentially has been the sort of golden ticket in different scenarios where they're able to get an article or they're able to get some good coverage about something specifically within their shops?
I mean, I don't have great advice here, because a lot of it is just I mean, a lot of it is just luck, right? Or you happen to write somebody on a certain day. What I can say that's useful is that, and I guess California barbecue is a great example of this, right? Moose Craft Barbecue, Horn Barbecue, our friend Bert Bachman at Slab. A lot of this started because they just started DMing people quite earnestly saying, hey, I'm doing this in my backyard. It looks like on your IG profile that you write about food or you're into meat or you're part of this community. Would you like some barbecue? I'll give you some. Yeah. And then the other thing that helped is that then they weren't just doing this by themselves. They were doing it collectively. I mean, same thing with like Daniel the Heritage Barbecue. They would text each other in the middle of the night, just to be like, hey, I'm making barbecue, you're making barbecue, but we're not really alone. So, you form communities, sub-communities, and I think you just sincerely try to engage with people. And I use the barbecue example a lot because like with pizza, a lot of this is just about no frills and putting in the time, right? The pitches that did not work, nobody was basically trying to say that I'm making $2,000 brisket carne asada fries. They were just like, I have some ribs. Would you like some?
I'm down for ribs always. I mean, I think it's a good idea, but I think specifically, what a lot of shops want to wonder is, well, will this article make or break me? And, is the sort of golden Medina, this golden cow, very important when it comes to, hey, am I going to get an infatuation article and is that going to support me? Am I going to get this eater article? Is it essentially going to be able to take my business to the next? And I think with individuals like Chris Wallace, who we've seen over here, he's been able to essentially work with no marketing budget, with and sometimes no literal shelter, and an actual outside building, which is insane to this day to think about. But how did you essentially go from, where Ozzy's was literally being trapped out of your apartment into a place where you are at the point where you have your own shop? It's essentially the shop of your dreams, and you've been able to get there and also gain a large following on social media without spending a single dollar when it comes to marketing.
I mean, it's easy. I'm cheap, so I'm just not going to spend any money. No, it's a good question because, basically, we were in this pop-up, if you followed us, in this bar in Glendale. The only reason we went there was because I used to be a beer salesman, and the guy needed someone to use his pizza oven on the weekends, and I wanted just to make pizza more than anything. During COVID, I got sober, and this was my thing I just fell in love with and just kept making pizza every day. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go make pizza here on the weekends when I'm not working at my other job. Just started making it, and I just wanted to make what I grew up with, New Haven-style pizza. It wasn't to be the best in L.A. or the best in California or whatever. It was just to make what I missed eating. And then it just started. People would show up, like people from Connecticut, friends told friends, and it was natural. And then one day, Farley Elliott from Eater just DM'd me and goes, hey, I just ordered 8 pizzas. I'm coming by in an hour. And I was like, this is awesome. I've read his stuff. This is great. Met him, really nice. Thought nothing of it. And a week later, we were in the best pizza in LA list for Eater. And that started to just we could see it grow. And then from there, people would start to hit us up, and the resharing and the organic community thing. Once you're in something, whether it's good or bad, it gets shared all over the internet. So once that came out, then other publications started to follow it a little bit. And then what happened was, not a lot of people know this story, but the bar we were in randomly decided to sell and close on a Sunday night and didn't tell us. So we go to make dough on Monday with my shop in there, and I can't open the door. And I call my landlord. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Oh, we sold the bar. We're sorry. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. So then they offered us that outdoor space in Glendale as a consolation prize because they knew they screwed us. So I was like, fine, we'll go do it. And the only way we could do it was to be there 5 days a week. And I'm still doing a 40 to 50 hour a week sales job. And I was like, all right, we'll do it. So for 6 months, I was working 100 hours a week, doing all the prep, doing all the marketing, doing all the Instagram, just because I loved it. And I knew if you do something you're passionate about, people will just come to it. And it just gradually grew over time. And then, this dude, I don't know if you heard of him, Dave Portnoy, I think his name is, or whatever, some guy, I don't know.
Who?
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Dude, everyone asked me this. How'd you get him there? I have no idea. I didn't ask him to show up. He freaking told me when he was there before he started filming. He came in town for the Rose Bowl, which was obviously in Pasadena, and he was just driving by Glendale to go to his hotel. And he Googled Ozzy's and he showed up that night. And that was it. And then obviously the review came out and it blew us up. And the other side of the story is a week later, we had 4-hour waits because we had one oven that holds 6 pizzas. And the pizzas were coming out like shit. And I was getting really pissed off because then my customers that were coming to me before that couldn't get what they were expecting. So immediately we reinvested, bought a second oven, had it delivered the next day. And I hired like 10 people over the course of a month to help me because in the first month I blew my back out from making 400 pizzas a night by myself and I couldn't stand up anymore. So you go through all that, and this is stuff I'll never put online because you don't need to see that part. But like shop owners know, like it's not easy and like you never know what's going to happen. Would I have liked the pace of everything to be a little slower? Fuck yeah, that would have been nice. But you just roll with the punches. And from that, I meet Lawrence, I meet Andy, I met you, I met a lot of people in the audience. And I have all these friends in the community now that support each other. Like from everything that's happened, we have Pizza Fest, we have our shop in New Haven now. Like I've been sober now almost 5 years and like it just keeps me going. And like right now, I was freaking out because I'm here talking while my staff's running it. Not because like they're not going to do it because they're killing it without me. It's because I want to be there for them. But like this is the evolution of everything. You just grow with it. And like being able to see that, that's the most organic part of it with social media is like anything we post. Like people ask, like, who runs your Instagram? It's still me. I've had people offer me to run it. I'm like, I'm not paying you to run something I just Googled from the bathroom. Like I'm not going to do that. So like everything I put on there, whether it's good, bad, funny, stupid, it's just me and it's like a stream of conscious. Some of the funniest stuff we ever did was the whole no ranch thing for a while. And I loved it because like, why? I don't want to serve ranch, whatever. And then one day I make a video, all right, we're doing ranch. It's the funniest video we've ever had. It's been reshared 1 billion times. And now we sell buckets of ranch. I can't help it. It's a business. But it doesn't matter. Like nothing at the end of the day matters as long as you're just doing what you love and like your customers appreciate it. And like I like how Lauren said, like you learn from 1-star Yelp reviews what you need to fix. Like I had one where they were basically saying it wasn't about the pizza quality, it was about this customer service at the new shop. And I was about an employee and I was like, nope. And I went in the next day and we sat him down and he's not there anymore because he was drunk on the job. And I'm like, we're not dealing with that. Like this is the kind of stuff you have to learn and grow with because you're on a different stage now. And like those are the things that you learn as you see it, and it helps you get out there and just really promote your brand. Because like at the end of the day, like we've been talking, your brand is you. Like, you know, Vito at Angel City, that's him. Like everything you make is you. Like these are things you just have to remind yourself of and just always just be true to yourself and like it'll be fine. And if not, chug some ranch and go to sleep. Like, I don't know.
Okay. I will. Fine. Let's talk. That was an amazing response, so thank you. Lawrence, I think when you took the helm of Prince Street, there was a clear difference because of, I think, your creativity and your ability to essentially think outside the box and go beyond. And again, this sort of concept, I think, of you really perfecting the idea of partnerships has been studied by so many different people in the industry and as they've gone on. And when you go, especially into, you know, as you're expanding Prince Street and you're looking for this, you've been working with a lot of collaborations, especially in new communities. How important is that as opposed to just having a random influencer?
I think as you expand your business, you want to be able to tap into other communities. And a great way to do that is through partnerships. I think the first thing you really want to do is identify who your community is. And once you find out who your community is, then you can find like-minded people that like other things that you could possibly collaborate with. We do a lot of music collaborations. We've done collaborations with Kiss, Motley Crue, a couple other ones.
A couple other hair metal bands that had wild coke parties in the 80s. Yeah, that's great.
But, you know, because we show up at a lot of festivals. We're at Coachella, we're at Stagecoach. I think we are probably going to do about 30 festivals this year. So music's our thing. So it's a perfect collaboration with pizza. Pizza is also a great tool to create a collaboration because it's that vehicle that you could put anything on. We just did a collaboration with 2 restaurants, Bridgetown Roti and Boiling Crab. We did thanks. We did a collaboration for Coachella with them. So I don't even know what your question was, but I
Honestly, same. So you're good. It makes 2 of us.
But yeah, no, doing collaborations are great because it keeps things new, fresh. It drives in new traffic and allows you to share audiences.
It's fantastic. And I think also as we look around, we look at, the effect of where, your businesses, especially the 2 of you, have gone with kind of everything. I mean, what is it especially that you think moves the needle the most right now when it comes to online?
In pizza, Dave Portnoy. If you can get Dave Portnoy to come to your...
Who is...
Who's this guy? I don't know who that is.
Who is... I'm
know.
Dave.
I don't know. Oh, sorry.
I'm Dave.
So have Dave
Right.
Dave come to your pizzeria.
So I'll come and, anyways, so that'll be good. But I mean, I think specifically, like, the thing that I appreciate of everyone on this panel right now, and just to reiterate, is like, I in May, unfortunately, had my page shut down by an asshole who decided to send my Instagram page. And it wasn't until I went to an industry-only event, was able to meet individuals like Apizza over here, who's been amazing, and to actually, be able to get my page back and kind of work with it. And none of that would have happened without Andy Wong's industry-only event. And for me to be sitting here on a panel with you and actually be able to talk to you about this and how much it meant to me, it really meant the world. At the same time, with Lawrence, I would have never been able to run this Pastrami on Pizza festival if it wasn't for you literally handing me the keys to your PR machine with Carving Block and with everything in social media and influencers and everything. And I wouldn't have been able to see the insides of every single kitchen of every pizzeria in Los Angeles if it weren't for Chris and I one day just randomly saying, hey, let's go eat every single pizza in Los Angeles and meet the people behind everyone and then show people, hey, this is why there's a community and everything is involved. So I think for me, as we kind of look on in the translation between, well, why is a meme maker essentially still here? And why is a glorified graphic designer who posts hot and ready photos essentially talking about this? Like, there is a chance, and what people label as the fakest city in the world is able to truly get real and actually work together and create this sense of radical community. And for me, I think Andy, when you were thinking about industry only and when you were thinking about starting everything, what really was it that got you to say, all right, well, nobody else is doing this, so I guess I have to be the guy to do this?
So, I mean, you're not going to like the answer to this question, but it ties into what Lauren said, right? Most ideas have been done before. Chef-only parties, right? Industry-only parties are things that have existed for a long time. Scott Feldman historically had 212 House, with all these major sponsors and people like Tom Colicchio, Ming Tsai, Bobby Flay, whoever, cooking at these things. But to Lawrence's point, right, where there are a lot of assholes in the world, the pitch that I made, and it ties into this other thing too. All right. So our pitch is basically like, we're just going to do this and we're going to try not to be assholes. And I actually did tell Mario Carbone once, because he asked me, hey, because I did an event with him at ZZ's in New York, where he's like, so what's the thing that you're doing? And I'm like, it's 212 House, except we're not assholes. And he's like, great, I don't need the pitch beyond that, just do that. So I feel like, there are all these things that claim that they're inclusive, exclusive at the same time. You can't really be that. We just decided never to be exclusive, and that's what we were.
Well, I think, Lawrence,
Q&A.
you'll speak first, and then we'll open it up to questions. Yeah, did you?
What do you want me to speak about?
Oh, I thought you had a comment. My
Oh,
apologies.
Q&A. Let's get this
Cool.
Q&A.
So we'll do a Q&A. We'll get this going, and then, yeah. That was great.
All the love to all of you. Thank you guys so much, David. Andy, such a pleasure. Lawrence, like Chris, you guys are just amazing sensations. I want a quick question for all of us. With how we're really, really social is just a daily part of everyone's life, anywhere you go and all that. How do you see food continuing to be a main character and more of a content creator as food, not with people, but how food porn becomes your content creator? And what do you see that pivoting to in the next, I don't know, 6 months with social, because it's changing every day?
Thanks, Raj, for the tough question. Am I going to answer this one?
You want me to shoot at it? I got an idea.
Yeah, you go first.
Sure. Thanks, Raj. That's pretty simple in my mind. It's like we all eat, right? Do we all eat? We're at a pizza fest, right? So when you go on the Instagram or Facebook or whatever, most of the content's food related. So if someone sees something unique and different, this goes back to what Lauren said, make one good thing, make one great thing and you'll stand out. If you keep posting the one great thing, it'll keep going out there. And I think just if shops start to streamline and focus on the one thing that they do well, it'll continue to grow that food porn thing like out in the world. But more so, it's like I've gone to places because I just see something crazy and it looks great and you go and try it. That'll never change. Whether it's on TV, whether it's on the internet, you see something that you want to eat, you're going to go try and eat it. Like I did that like a week ago. I went and tried one of those weird Japanese ice cream things that look like a mango. It's fantastic. Cost me $40. It was great. But like that's what you do. Like it's always going to be out there. Put it out there. Don't be afraid to put it out there. And I think it's not going to change.
I'll tell you something that I'm focusing in on a little bit more is having people like non-food influencers come and talk about our food. Like I'd rather have a ballerina who posts about her ballet slippers all day and then she says, "Oh, I just had the best pizza." That's going to like stop me. You know what I mean? So we kind of get like, we see all the food influencers posting the same things over and over. It's the same places. What my little secret that I'm focusing on the next year is focusing on people that don't post about food to post about my food. So I think that's like a whole new audience to tap into.
That's a great point. I really enjoyed hearing that one. Okay, yes.
Lawrence, quick question. You said that when you wanted to do that collaboration with the menu, that you just called Fox. Like, how do you just call Fox?
Okay, so I made it sound simple because I didn't want to like get into too many details. Probably one of my best assets as an entrepreneur is knowing how to get something done and not taking no for an answer. So the first call they said, "Have you not read that script? It's about cannibalism." I was like, the movie wasn't about cannibalism. The script might have been, but the movie wasn't. And like, I'll tell you one quick story. I tried to get Matthew McConaughey I did a thing called the Burger Showdown where I teamed up 50 celebrities with 50 burger joints during the pandemic. And I called Matthew McConaughey's agent, said, "Hey, I got Aaron Franklin. He wants to do a burger with Matthew." I knew that Aaron Franklin would love to, Matthew McConaughey would love to do something with Aaron Franklin because Aaron Franklin's the king of food in Austin and Matthew McConaughey is a very prominent figure in Austin. And the agent's like, "Well, is there money?" I was like, "No, I got no money. It's all going to the first responders." And the agent called me a couple hours later, said, "He's not interested." I was like, "Did you ask him?" "He's not going to do it." So I took the no. I called his publicist. 2 hours later, Matthew McConaughey was calling me saying, "I love this idea. Let's do it." So back to your question is, every time a door shuts on me, I open up the next one and the next one, and that's it. So
Those Canadians are relentless. Last question over here.
Go Kings, go.
I'm curious for all of you guys, like, not even necessarily food related, who would be your dream collaborator?
Can I right now? Because like people in my office, and I'm gonna botch the name, but Chaperone, Pink Pony Club. I'd love to do. I pitched this to her. They've gotten back, but she's a little tougher to deal with, so I'm not going to give up. But I pictured pink boxes, and my little 6-year-old daughter was singing Pink Pony Club, and I was like, "This is amazing. Everybody loves this girl." So that would be mine.
Could this be the first Prince Street pop-up at the Abbey? Because sign me up.
That's a good question. I got two. Stone Cold Steve Austin. And then Mark Hoppus from Blink-182.
Yeah.
Because like I like how Lauren said it. I love when people that aren't in food try your food. Like we literally did a event last week with Jimmy Kimmel, and all that happened was he called us. Like this is organic. Like I get to work with K Rock now because I worked with Pizza Fest, and I love that music. Like I work with wrestling brands now because I love wrestling. Like if you just put yourself out there, like it'll just show, and you have to do some legwork sometimes, but it'll come to you. But like yeah, well, I would love to smash a non-alcoholic beer over Stone Cold's head, and then eat a pizza with him, and then cry about Blink-182 ballads with Mark while he eats my pizza. So
Listen, I appreciate your time and your time. I'll let a big hand for our panel.
Thank you, everyone.
thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, guys. Thank you.